and good evening from India. I'm Nilza Wangmu, the MC for today's program. On behalf of the International Buddhist Confederation, I would like to welcome you all to Dhamma Talk 12, which is a part of our ongoing fortnightly program, the International Dhamma Talk Series, that commenced on the 19th of November 2021. So today we have with us a very special teacher, Venerable Bhante Buddharakkita from Uganda, Africa, who would be teaching us on the topic freedom from fear. Venerable, we are indeed very privileged and honored to have you teach us today. With this, I'd like to read a brief bio of our teacher. Venerable Bhante Buddharakkita was born in Uganda, Africa. He first encountered with Buddhism in 1990 while studying and living in India. He is the founder of the Uganda Buddhist Center and the Buddhist Primary School in Uganda. Venerable Bhante is a visiting professor at Union Theological Seminary, affiliated to Columbia University in New York City. He is a vice president of the International Buddhist Confederation and a longtime member of Global Buddhist Relief's Advisory Council in New Jersey, the United States. He has been teaching mindfulness meditation in Africa, the United States, Singapore, and worldwide since 2005. His book, Planting Dharma Seeds, Emergence of Buddhism in Africa, tells the story of his religious and spiritual work in Africa. Now with this, I'd like to request Venerable Dr. Dhammapiya, Secretary General IBC, to kindly say a few words and welcome our teacher. Venerable Dr. Dhammapiya ji.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa buddhang saranang gacchami dhammang saranang gacchami sanghang saranang gacchami. From Mangala Sutta, let me just recite one gatha. Garavocha santuthicha, garavocha nivatocha, santuthicha katanyuta, kalina dhamma savanang, etang mangala muttama. This, to have an opportunity to listen to Dhamma and kalina dhamma sakacha, etang mangala muttama, to have opportunity to discuss on Dhamma is an auspicious occasion. Today indeed is an auspicious occasion to have Most Venerable Buddharakkita Thero from Uganda to speak on the topic freedom from fear, which is very important. I welcome Venerable Buddharakkita Thero to this Dhamma Talk series. It is Dhamma Talk series 12. And I would like to welcome all other viewers, Venerable monks and nuns, upasakas, upasikas, lay devotees who have joined this online Dhamma Talk program from different countries on different platforms. I welcome you all. This is an endeavor IBC has initiated to bring spiritual masters from different traditions of Buddhism to share their insight, their experience, their knowledge, wisdom with large number of people for the benefit and happiness of all. So we look forward to listen to Most Venerable Buddharakkita Thero. So the floor is yours, Venerable, please.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Dear Mahasangha, most venerable Dr. Dhammapiyaji, and all IBC staff and volunteers, Dhamma brothers and sisters, I greet you in the name of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Today, I'm going to talk about freedom from fear. The Pali word for fear is bhaya. Bhaya. So, freedom from fear, you want to be free from fear. We want to be from bhaya to abhaya. Abhaya means fearless. Fearless. So now, fear is an emotion, unwholesome emotion, and it's very common in our life. Some of the teachers that we know and some scholars, they have told us where it originates. For instance, the late Thich Nhat Hanh, Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh, talked about how fear arises from the time of birth. As soon as we're born, we are in a different environment. In our mother's womb, it's a different environment. And when you come to this world for the first time you see lights in the world, it's so scary. And I think I can relate to this. When you're sleeping at night and somebody all of a sudden come and switch on light, you get startled, so scary. Yes, and yet you've been used to the lights, all of us, we are used to light. But just that night when you're fast asleep in the dark and somebody all of a sudden put on light and you look like this, you feel something terribly wrong, actually, and you get scared. That's one way. What about the baby who has never seen light for the first time, gets out of that journey, a wonderful journey? We all did it before, and you just all these bright lights, Then what about the touch? You get these touches with this rough skin of a doctor, even when they put gloves. It's really scary. Then talk about strangers. Actually, by the way, the first time a baby is born and see all these strangers, nurses, a midwife, and all this, must be scary. I mean, can you imagine you are an adult, you have many friends on Facebook, but if they are to appear on your door, we've been actually communicating on Facebook together. Can you face them? Not really. Yes. So it must be scary actually for the baby to see all these Uncle Sam or this and this and this. Just really get started also, Then what about taking the breath for the first time? Can you imagine? It must be scary. So fear arises there. You can go on to all the six senses actually, all six senses. And even when you look at feeding there was automatic, on demand. Here, the food is not coming in time. And you see children crying their brain out, because they're not getting food on demand, Yes, so if you delay, the kids get scared because it maybe feel that it's going to not survive, So you can see how this fear arises right from the time we come to this world. But also we have people who talk, some scholars from neuroscience section, who talks about when you reflect on how many years we lived here, maybe over 5,000 years or whatever they are, exactly, I don't know. But we lived so many years in a forest. And there we had a very simple constitution, to be killed or to kill. So now we stayed in the wild there, in the wild, and tigers and lions and all these things, we lived there. We just had to set fire to keep them off. So then fear started from there, where we had to protect ourselves and others. Imagine you have a family of 5 and one of them go to get water, another one to hunt food. I'm telling you, you're always afraid whether they're going to come back or not, whether the lion is going to eat them. So now there's no more lions, at least they're in the zoos and the national parks here in Africa. But even then, our brain, according to neuroscience, it's wired that way. Every time we feel there's something wrong going on, we are afraid. We are afraid. We continue to be afraid. But the Buddha really told us, okay, fear comes from immediate cause, like craving. That's what the Buddha told us. From craving, from endearment, from passion, from desire, attachments, clinging. You can put also clinging and craving. So that's Buddha told us that craving arises from there. In fact, in one Dhammapada phrase, the Buddha said that if there is no craving, no endearment, no attachment, and so on, where is fear? So there'll be no fear. So we can see craving or attachment has two sides to it. One is craving to get, another one craving to get rid of. So when we are faced with difficult situations in our life, we push it away. We want to push away these situations. So we have aversion towards the present danger that is confronting us. So that's by way of origin, where fear comes from. But I'd like to share with you my story about my experience when I was growing up. I had a lot of fear, but I would just give maybe one or two fears just to share with you. Before I became a monk, I used to be afraid of swimming. When I was growing up, actually, that's to put it that way. When I was growing up, I used to be afraid of swimming. And the reason why I was afraid of swimming is because my cousin nearly drowned in Lake Victoria. We have a big lake here called Lake Victoria, really nearly drowned. And now the whole family was told not to go anywhere near water, and I was one of them. So I used to go on a picnic in a boarding school. From the boarding school, I would go to Lake Victoria, and all other students, they would swim in the lake. I would just stay there behind and looked at them, and then I say, okay, I'm afraid of this water, but I wish my parents didn't stop me. I would have tried maybe, but there was a kind of a law in our family not to go anywhere near water. So when I went to India to study, then at the university, there was a swimming pool, a big one. I said, yes, now I don't have my parents. I'm going to entrust my life with the coach. I told the coach my story that I'm afraid of water. I sink like a rod. Actually, for me, the first time I go in water, always I sink just to the bottom. And then I saw these Westerners when I go to India, New Delhi. There's a hotel called Holiday Inn. I used to go there whenever I left Chandigarh and go to New Delhi. And then I would see these Westerners reading a book. They were reading a book when they're just on a swimming pool. And for them, they're floating. I said, no, I have to do it. I have to do it. So I told the coach, I brought a little bit of floaters, and he gave me the floater, and he started working on just pedaling water so that I don't sink. I got the skill, just riding water, pedaling with my leg, and I stayed afloat. And he told me sometime to remove the floater. One time I started floating. I said, yes, I'll never drown now. So I felt so good about it. I felt the freedom that I'm free now, that I can be in water without drowning. And I can relate to that. So later on, long story short, I became a scuba diving instructor in Thailand before I became a monk. I used to work for 2 years in Thailand, where I was a good snorkeler, I was a good swimmer, I used to be a scuba diving instructor, and I felt so good that I overcome my fear, really. I felt so good. Then also another fear I had was fear of ghosts. In Africa, this is a very common theme. People are afraid of ghosts. When we have a graveyard, cemeteries, we in Africa, we are still young, we are so afraid of going in a cemetery. And the reason is very simple. They say that the dead are still alive. They're lingering around. So there are ghosts around it. So now, every time I ask, have you ever seen a ghost? They say, no. Somebody told me. I said, no, who's that person? I went to that person. Have you ever seen a ghost first experience? I said, no, somebody told me. So I was so frustrated that I've never seen first-hand information. I've never had a person who had direct experience about seeing a ghost. Very frustrating. I say, okay, one time I'll get that person. So now one time there was a conference in Thailand, in Bangkok, and I went on that conference, United Nations conference, and now a friend of mine in Northern Thailand told me to go and visit him near Ajahn Chah Monastery. Now, in the Ajahn Chah Monastery, it's amazing. The similar stories are floating around, the stories we have in Africa about ghosts. Now, though my trip was not to see ghosts, but when I arrived there to see my friend, whom we lived together in West Virginia, we lived together for a long time, and I wanted to see him actually. And he told me that he's actually helping out to ordain novice monks. And I really wanted to see him. He helped me to make a Buddha statue for Uganda Buddhist Center. So now, as we're talking about an evening, there was a monk sitting next to him. And he told me, you know, have you ever seen ghosts? He asked me, I said, no. I said, have you seen the one? He said, yes, sure. And I know because he's a monk, he's not going to lie to me. So the monk told me, yes, he has seen the ghost firsthand. I said, yes, let's go. So now I told my host that at about 10 p.m., I'm going for a wonderful adventure. So now we went in the cemetery. They don't bury those people. Oh, no, they don't cremate actually, but they bury them temporarily, those who die due to accidents. So now we go there with the monk and the driver. So the monk told me to go in a small deserted house, very, very like thatched one, actually, small one. And no windows, no doors. Say, okay, sit there, sure. We'll say ghost. So he left. He left, and I said, I'm on my own. It was a little bit of darkness there. And now, as I was sitting in meditation, I closed my eyes. I said, yes, I need to see this ghost. But I said, no, open them so that you see clearly. So I opened my eyes, and then I start hearing branches breaking. Pa, pa, pa. I say, yeah, it's now coming. And now I realized that these are branches. I meditated. Mosquitoes were biting me. I was afraid about dengue fever and then malaria from Africa. So wow, now I'm afraid of getting actually sick because of this malaria. So now, but then I had the steps coming. Pa, 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 after 45 minutes of meditation. And then I said, wow, Bhante Buddharakkita, you are in trouble now. You are in face-to-face with the ghost. But then after a while, I saw that the monk is the one who was coming to fetch me. But I went through this for almost 5 minutes to 10 minutes, really thinking about this ghost coming. But then he said, no, it's time to go home. So there I was frustrated. But of course, that 5 minutes, I started to really reflect on all Buddha's teaching about dealing with fear. I said, okay, now, even if this ghost is to take me, okay, it's coming, but at least I've introduced Buddhism in Uganda. And there's no big deal. I've introduced Buddhism to my friends and my mother. So I say, okay, yes, I'm ready. I don't know what ghosts do when you really come face to face, but I was really actually getting ready. I was getting ready. So I'm here to see one, but that was my fear. Yeah, but at least I've overcome the fear of swimming, but the fear of ghosts, I've never seen one actually with first-hand experience. Anyway, so this is my experience about fear. But let's go to what the Buddha talked about fear, actually. We can broadly divide fear into two. One side is unwholesome fear. Another one is, I would say, wholesome kind of fear, but that one is qualified with the word moral. Moral. So that one is called moral fear, which is and moral dread, which is otapa. Those actually kind of fears, we can say, the Buddha encouraged us to cultivate them. The other one encouraged us to overcome it, to be free from it. So we start with what kind of fear, which is called bhaya. The Buddha told us to overcome it, to abandon it. That's the fear that is caused by mental defilements. For instance, fear of which is nourished by delusion and confusion. For instance, in Africa here, we see ropes and we always think that they're snakes. No wonder when I went on the internet, they say fear is false evidence appear real. That's the confusion and ignorance. You don't know, but you assume it's a snake. So that fear, we should abandon it, because every time you said rope, you think it's a snake and you're afraid of walking at night. So that kind of fear is unwholesome. We can abandon it and at least walk with flashlights so that you don't mistake ropes for snakes. There's also fear that comes from actually attachment, really like being afraid to lose things which we attach to. We can reduce the attachment or even eliminate attachment. You have an umbrella, you are traveling with an umbrella. I'm giving an example because here now it's a rainy season. As you are walking with and then the umbrella, you're afraid of losing it. Why are you afraid of losing the umbrella? You are attached to your umbrella. There's one umbrella I got from Malaysia, actually. It's the only one in Uganda here. It's good. It's my color as a monk. But one time I reflect, what if this umbrella gets lost? It's good. It's wide enough. It's wider than any other umbrella here. It's my color. It's longer and it's functioning very well. I saw that I might be attached to this umbrella because I can't get it. I got it on a conference. But the way how I overcome that fear of losing that umbrella, by the way, I haven't lost that umbrella. So I say, I'm going to let go about this fear of losing the umbrella. I'm going to really make a conscious effort to let go the attachment to this umbrella. I remember really I made a determination saying, okay, I'm going to let go about this attachment. What I did is to say, whoever who gets this umbrella because I've forgotten it somewhere or what, let them enjoy it. They are going to enjoy it. Because the thing is, that's let it go. I no longer have the attachment to the umbrella. What's very interesting that it's still there. So, but I've let go. But this kind of tenaciously holding on to things, that's why we actually have a lot of fear to lose things, Yes, because of attachment. Whether your beloved one, still it's an attachment. Whether whatever it is, yes, including the fear of death is also part of attachment also. Attachment to our body, our life. And we cannot let go, But life, as it will surprise us, it will go. It has its schedule to keep. So then there's fear about fear itself. Yeah, when you're afraid of fear itself also. And fear of unknown, I can also bunch that into fear nourished by what you call ignorance, because if you don't know the place, and there's fear to always something we don't know. Let's say if I tell you, my friend, let's go to Uganda. Let's go to Uganda. The first thing, I don't know about Uganda. And then if you get to know it, oh, there was Idi Amin. No. I'm not going to go to Uganda because there was Idi Amin. So it's unknown to you. So Uganda there become a mystery, actually. Middle in the continent here, Central Africa, almost in the center. But there's a mystery around it because you don't know it. So when I say, okay, today, let's say, Selena, today we are going to Uganda. Yes, pack up. Selena might say, oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, but maybe some people say, well, what happened this? What about I get malaria? What about this? So we get so many questions, what if, but all this kind of thing. I remember when I was traveling in Tibet, first I became a Tibetan Buddhist. And I loved India. I went to the to Dharamsala, and finally I went to Tibet. And I was traveling with about 5 people from the United States. This is about a trip of 5 days, and we all come as a group. We have to pay money to go to these places in Tibet. So there were a few Americans on the trip. And I was from Uganda, of course. And now all the other people who were traveling on that trip, they went to a traveler agent and they start asking, but if the car breaks and we have to go to the hospital, what if this happened? What if this, because there's a fear of unknown. So there was a lot of but if. So now lastly, I went to the guy and said, okay, how's the trip? He told me, I've been talking to people who are called what if, but. So every time they're asking me, what if this happened? What if this? They had over 20 questions, I think, because the guy was so exhausted. He said, the people who have been here, they're called but if, what if this, but. So then for me, when I say, okay, let's get into the ride, I'm ready to go to see these mountains where the Dalai Lama, the lakes where they see the future Dalai Lamas. So anyway, this is unknown. People really don't know what's going to happen, actually. They don't have insurance, and they need to make sure that they have insurance, and so many other things that come handy. When you don't know, you need to know, really. So that fear also can come from that way. So then fear, of course, from aversion. When there's maybe a bear comes in front of you, definitely you're going to have aversion towards it. I remember when I was in West Virginia, I told people, I've never seen a bear apart from a zoo. They say, oh, you've never seen one in the wild? Yeah, there are bears in West Virginia. I said, no way, you are pulling my leg. So this nun was telling me, one nun, Buddhist nun, told me there's a bear here. I said, no. 3 years I don't say bear, very frustrated. One time, I was, because they had cut a lot of the forest, the power line, they had cut it to put a power line. So they destabilized the whole ecosystem, because to put a power line in the United States, it's a wide area, they had to clear all the wood. So now, one time I had a day off, and I decided to meditate in my kuti, and I came out of my kuti, and I was sitting in front of my kuti, sitting next to our neighbors. And our neighbors had so many dogs barking all the time. So I sat there, all of a sudden I saw a big black dog. I said, wow, this is a huge black dog. And then all of a sudden I saw it throwing legs like this. I said, maybe this is not a dog. And I'm telling you, I saw it was a black bear coming close to me, very close to me. I'm telling you, that fear came, and that's called aversion. I was so averse to see a bear. So I just ran to my kuti, and that was my loving kindness, really, to make a distance between me and the bear. So that's kind of fear that comes from aversion to the present danger. So you can see fear is motivated with many factors, and we call it unwholesome fear. That one, we need to overcome it, overcome that fear, not that you're going to sit there and say, hello, how are you, dear? I've been practicing for such a long time. I'm going to have freedom from fear. No, it means, though you are safe, but don't cut out that kind of phobia. Phobia, fear of animals and all this kind of thing. And also that introduces us to another kind of fear, which is called excessive fear for things which they've not even happened. And we call that in English phobias. Phobias, foreigners. We are afraid of foreigners, we are afraid of heights, we are afraid of open, closed places, and all this kind of thing. That one is another kind of fear, we call it phobia, but still I would bunch it to under the same unwholesome fear, Yes, for me, I had phobia about the water, I had to overcome it. So, but let's talk about what we call wholesome fear. Wholesome fear is hiri and otapa in Pali. So hiri means moral fear. Basically, what it means is that to be afraid of committing evil. In other words, it's just like compared to being afraid to touch something dirty. If you're afraid to touch something dirty because you are going to get unclean, then that's about self-respect. So the Buddha encourages us to do that kind of practice and develop that mental state called hiri, or moral fear. We have to codify the word moral because that's what we need to cultivate, so that you don't break the precepts. You don't break the precepts. And according to Buddha, it talks about this as lokadhamma. That means what protects the Dhamma, the world. I mean, this Dhamma is what protects the world, loka, world. So we need to cultivate that. We should not really have the opposite, which is more fearless. Basically, we should cultivate moral fear, moral fear, so that we are afraid of breaking the precept. That's fine. We should cultivate that one. Yet there's another kind of fear we call dread, moral dread, which is otapa. Otapa is, again, something that we need to cultivate. This one is being afraid of the results of committing something unwholesome. For instance, you touch fire. What are the results? Is you get burnt. It's unwholesome because it's leading to your suffering, suffering of others, and suffering of both. Suffering of both. So now that's the results of doing something. You're afraid of the results. So otapa is being afraid of the consequences of what you're going to do, but for the hiri is about not doing something evil, right? You are afraid of doing something evil. So now you know the difference between hiri and otapa. So now let's go to what's the opposite of fear. Is called abhaya, and that's the freedom from fear. That one I don't have to talk much about it because that's probably the third noble truth. And the solution now we have seen relating to the first noble truth, fear brings suffering. So now what causes suffering is the fear itself. So fear is a cause of suffering. Though the Buddha talked about the cause of suffering is craving, craving for existence, craving for non-existence, but so many things the Buddha didn't talk about, but it can be understood under those categories. This is craving to push away things is another form of fear also. So when you crave to push away things. So now we are going to have freedom from fear, which is fearless. That could be related to third noble truth. When you have freedom, we have freedom from fear. That's you are working on the third noble truth. Now we go to the way to be free. What's the way? The fourth noble truth reminds us how to cultivate the way to fearlessness, to freedom from fear. So that one we have to use the Noble Eightfold Path, the whole Noble Eightfold Path. Those are the ways, the methods how to deal, is the way how to become free from fear. So we start with right understanding. Right understanding. So what's right understanding? Of course, many ways of having right understanding, but this one would be you understand what's wholesome and the root of unwholesome, understanding that this unwholesome and its roots. So we know the root of wholesome is generosity, loving kindness, compassion. We should know that. Then unwholesome, on one wholesome side, we know the root of unwholesome is greed, hatred, and delusion. So now if we understand this wholesome and this unwholesome, then you can substitute with fear. Okay, this fear, the root is unwholesome. What can we do with it? We should cultivate it, because the whole Noble Eightfold Path is about developing, cultivating. So we should find a way how to cultivate understanding of fear. We need to understand it, not push it under the rug. And they say, no, I have courage. No. So you should understand, oh, this is fear. Fear is arising. So you understand that this is the cause of unwholesome. So without that understanding, you won't even bother to find out the solution to it. So you should understand fear. That's one way of really dealing with fear. Being free from fear begins with understanding what fear is. And we're going to see that when we practice mindfulness, as we try to see, oh, fear is arising in my body. How does it feel? Is it tight? Is this tensed? So by doing that, we understand fear and how it affects your body. So that understanding is very, very important. And of course, on understanding what's wholesome, this is hiri and otapa is wholesome roots, so we should cultivate it. So that's part of the Noble Eightfold Path, to cultivate what's wholesome and the roots of wholesome. So the task here is continue to cultivate, bring in the wholesome roots, wholesome roots here in the Tapa, and we continue to understand them and how they bring wholesome state of mind. So now the next one is right understanding, right thoughts. So right thoughts is thoughts of loving kindness, thoughts of generosity, thought of compassion. So this is also fear is part of thoughts, the thought of fear, the thought of fear. So now, as you remember in the Noble Eightfold Path, the Buddha is talking about, these are thought of greed, thought of hatred, thought of cruelty. So now, this thought of, this kind of thought, which is right thoughts, it should be the opposite of that. The opposite of greed is non-greed. So that's what the Buddha want to cultivate, non-greed instead of greed. The Buddha also want to cultivate what we call non-hatred, which is another way of saying loving kindness. The Buddha wants us to cultivate what we call thought of non-cruelty, which is compassion. So now it doesn't stop there, because when you look at the root of fear, when you look at fear and its root, we find out is craving, attachment, greed, and aversion. So now, by doing the same way, we can always replace thoughts of fear to thoughts of courage. And then always you cultivate the thought of courage. Whenever there's fear arises, you say, okay, now let me cultivate the thoughts of courage so that you are courageous to face your fears. Just that's what I did when I was swimming. Try to always think about being courageous, not always having fear. So that also helps. Now we go to the third noble truth. So the third factor of the Noble Eightfold Path, which is called right speech. Now, most of the people are afraid to speak because they don't know what's right and wrong. But with following the Noble Eightfold Path, when you know that you're going to speak the truth, when you know that you're going to speak with kindness, when you know that you're speaking what you call harmonious speech and meaningful speech, then you're confident, you have courage to speak, because the Noble Eightfold Path is giving you guidelines. And now for this case, speaking what's right, speaking right, what you call right speech. So it helps you to have courage instead of fear. Then you'll be free from fear. Freedom from fear comes from the way you speak. You become confident and not fearful to speak. Of course, most people have what you call shyness when they speak. They're afraid of speaking in the public. That's called phobias also. Sometimes nothing is going to happen. In fact, most of the time, and when you're afraid and you go to speak in the public, then you really feel that people are enjoying what you're speaking. And then you overcome that fear, So in other words, when you speak the truth, be confident, because you have courage if you follow the Noble Eightfold Path, like the right speech. You speak what's true with harmonious, with good intentions, what's necessary and kindly, you should be fine so that you overcome the fear of speaking. So now we go to right action. Right action, of course, in the Noble Eightfold Path is abstaining from killing, abstaining from taking what's not given, abstaining from sexual misconduct. So now, when you don't kill, that means you preserve life. You have compassion and loving kindness towards all living beings. You don't steal, and you are generous, and on. You can go even up to the 5 precepts. The Buddha said that somebody who practices these 5 precepts gives 5 gifts. Gives what? 5 gifts. Gift of fearless and danger, freedom from fear and freedom from danger to all beings. This person gives freedom from fear to all beings, and all beings are protected, are protected. And what's very interesting, somebody who does so, who keeps the 5 precepts, You say right action. So this person also share in that. Not only you give the freedom from fear to all beings, all sentient beings, but you share in that freedom. So in other words, a way to be free from fear is also to cultivate right speech. In other words, if you uphold the 5 precepts at a minimum, then you can actually be free from fear, because wherever you go, people are not afraid of you, and also you have courage to talk to them because you are not evil. You're not doing anything evil. But somebody who actually violate the 5 precepts, every time they'll be afraid. Like when you break the 5 precepts of killing, you say, "Wow, I killed something. I killed somebody's goat. They're going to catch me." So you always live under constant fear. You live under constant fear. So even in stealing, you steal somebody's phone, and are they going to find me? Are they going to find me? So you find out when you keep the 5 precepts, you'll be free from also fear that could arise because of your actions. So this is very, very important. Then we go to write a livelihood. The way you live your livelihood, you should be in sync with what the Noble Eightfold Path is talking about. Though the Buddha specifically talk about not dealing with poison, not selling poison, alcohol, and human beings, weapons, and meat, and so not dealing in such settings. But we can see exactly that actually you become free from fear if you abstain from these kind of trades, like selling human beings, slavery. You'll be always afraid because what you're doing is not good. We can bunch into ethics when you're unethical. So there's always going to be a lot of fear. So we go to right efforts. Right efforts is also very, very meaningful in our cultivation of freedom from fear. So we prevent, effort to prevent. Unwholesome, in other words, we prevent fear from arising. We prevent fear from arising. That's the first one of the first efforts. But what happens if fear arises, like that fear of ghosts? When fear comes, like fear of ghosts, don't worry. The Buddha gave in Vitakka Santana Sutta, gave 5 ways of overcoming unwholesome thoughts. So Vitakka Santana Sutta is a very, very beautiful discourse that can help you to overcome fear and other unwholesome states of mind. The first one in that discourse is talking about replacing the opposite. So you find out what's the opposite of fear? It's courage. So you replace it. So that you do as much as you can. And of course, there you have also to have mindfulness. You have to have mindfulness. So you have mindfulness, you pay mindfulness efforts to overcome fear using what we call substitution method. You substitute with the opposite. The second way, again, we are with the right efforts. You need to reflect on the danger, degradation, and defilement of fear. So that's triple D there, right there, in this discourse. But of course, you have reflect on the results, but we can use Upali Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya to really look at what kind of reflection is more effective. So we reflect on the danger of fear. When you have a lot of fear, it debilitates you. You cannot proceed. You are freezing. You're afraid of doing this and that and that. So, but if you really actually reflect like that, then you can overcome fear. It's just like when you're driving. When you're driving and then maybe overspeeding, and then you see a policeman, he's going to give you a ticket, maybe $300 in the United States. I don't know about Jamaica or India, but it's very expensive when you're overspeeding. So as soon as you see the police and you reflect that, oh, I'm going to get a very expensive ticket, you don't drive faster, you reduce, you stop. So the same thing when you have a lot of fear and then you reflect, fear is dangerous for me. It's going to affect my health, it's going to affect my life. Then you can actually remove the acceleration. You can actually reduce it. Also, reflecting on the defilement is very, very important, because the more you give in fear, the more you give in this mental state, fear, then you become more fearful. Let's say if you're 10% fear today and you don't deal with it, next time you're making it stronger, so that next time you are afraid again. You're afraid even more. So in the beginning, you can say rope and think that it's a snake. Next time you see any grass, next time you see any shoes, next time you see something. So in other words, it keeps on getting stronger and stronger, as you actually give in, So you reflect on defilement that, hey, this fear is defiling my mind. I see you. It's going to make my mind always full of fear. So when you reflect like this, you start actually reducing the amount of fear that you entertain. So, and lastly, distance for degradation. So when you reflect like, oh, this fear is degrading my mind, is degrading my status, and people who really see me as walking and very healthy, if I'm afraid of a small thing like this, then it's degrading me. Most people want to say, you don't have enough courage to live your life, So you reflect on the degradation of that mental state, which is called fear. So that's second method called reflection. So there's the third one is called redirection method. We redirect our mind. When you are tormented by fear, you can take a little bit of break and just bring in your mindfulness to the breath, to the body, and now do something else, Don't just only get bogged down by fear, just redirect your mind to something wholesome, like the breath, the body. That helps a lot. It's like compared to when you're talking with somebody. When you talk with somebody, as you're talking, and that person comes, hey, can I talk to you? No, wait a minute. I'm talking with my friend. Give me some 5 minutes. No, I'm going. Please, only a few seconds. And if you stop talking to your friend and tell the third person that you have only a few seconds to talk to that person, you start talking to this person. And then this person keep on going 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And then, okay, no, sorry, I have to go now. So then that person goes. Then you go to the other person you're talking with, you start asking yourself, by the way, what we are talking about? What was the storyline? You cannot even remember exactly what you are talking before you left. So now this is redirection also, because you direct your mind to somebody, the third person, and you spend about 5 minutes also. By the time you come, you've lost the grip, the momentum, You are not sure exactly where you stopped. So the same thing when fear comes, you redirect your mind. Actually, it loses the grip, the energy. It's become weaker. Yes. So then when you come, maybe it's back, it's actually, you can tolerate it. Or you can work with it and then overcome it. So then the fourth one there, it's number 4 is retracing methods. Way you retrace, where does this fear comes? What's the springboard? Where is it? Always I'm afraid. It's just like looking back to see the nourishing root. While reflection was looking forward about the results, but actually the method of retracing is going back and find out the root, the cause. I already told you the cause of fear, based on the Buddha's teaching, is craving. So once you see that the fear is being caused by craving, then it's workable. And then you can even go back and see, oh, where does this craving come from? My attachment to my umbrella that I got from Malaysia. Oh, maybe it's coming from the aversion coming from. Oh, maybe it's coming from ignorance. Maybe I'm ignoring something. Oh, I'm deluded about something. And then you look, where does this delusion come from? Maybe it comes from paying unwise attention. So you really find out the root. And if you find the root or where your fear is coming from, it's workable. It's workable. For me in Africa, I used to walk and then knock myself on a stone. Back then, I was not putting shoes on when I go in school. And now there is no stone. I would hit my toe on a stone and start bleeding. The first thing I would do is to look back. What's this stone that knocked me and all blood is just flowing, you know? So, but if you really neglect and you just keep on going, and then next time you knock, so better see what has knocked you and remove it, you know? So in other words, retracing is actually looking back what's knocking you all the time. You're afraid. Other people have courage. Other people have courage to go to swim, but you already been knocked by fear. So you really find out, okay, maybe I'm afraid because IBC. I'm afraid because I'm afraid to drown, or I don't have enough experience, enough training. So now that's another method which is very effective. But the last one is called resolve, making a strong resolve. Fear not to become your master. So most people, they become a puppet to fear, and they become servants, and the fear becomes their master. So in a resolution, you make a strong resolve every day to be courageous, to face life as it is. Of course, these things has to be done with mindfulness, because we need to open softly. You know, the good news is the mindfulness can bring us to that age when we can open it softly to anything that we are afraid. We don't just erratically go into the situation, but we can open softly and work with our fear and overcome it. So that was right effort to abandon. Of course, we can develop courage and also maintain the courage. Those are kind of 4 kinds of effort. So let's go to mindfulness. Mindfulness is the #1 approach to fear, actually. The rest also work very well, but mindfulness is very important, whereby in right mindfulness, we become mindful of the presence of fear when it's present. How does it feel in the body? How does it feel in the mind? And also the absence. When it's absent, sometimes you feel some kind of freedom. So also we have to know those moments when we are free, because freedom of fear comes with other wholesome states of mind, like delight and joy. You know, when you're free from fear, there's that kind of joy that comes, that happiness, that gladness, that finally you have courage to face life, to face the situation, you know, whether it's an interview, whether it's travel. And so it's really, it comes along with joy when there's that moment of freedom. So enjoy them. It's very important doing practice mindfulness. So mindfulness also continues to really being mindful of the conditions that brings fear. What are the conditions? What are the causes and the condition that nourishes fear? Maybe you're paying unwise attention to a theme of aversion. So you know, I've already told you, I told you about the roots of fear. We have to know what are the causes, what are the conditions, and when it's arising, we have to know that. And when it goes, we know the conditions when it's going. And for non-arising of fear in the future, you have to attain the 3rd level of enlightenment. Because during the 3rd level of enlightenment, that's when you overcome greed, which is nourishing craving. So now, as long as you still putujana, there will be some kind of fear in one form of fashion. And even when you attain the 1st level of enlightenment, still because you don't overcome fear, you just maybe not as gross, it's still subtle there. 2nd level of enlightenment, you just attenuate some of the fetters. But 3rd level of enlightenment, at least you overcome the nourishing root, which is aversion and greed. So that means you're going to have more courage in future if you attain that level, you know. But before that, we have to continue to be more mindful to see how we can work with it in a very skillful way. So mindfulness continues still to encourage us to really investigate. Is this fear rising? That's anicca, impermanence. And how unsatisfactory is it? That means dukkha, you find the dukkha when fear arises, and also the impersonal nature of this mind state. You know, fear is an impersonal state. It just come and go. So we don't take it as self. So we have to look at selfless nature or impermanence nature of that mental state. So that's part of mindfulness. And if it's still with the same mindfulness, we don't identify ourselves to fear as mine, this myself, this is I am, I'm afraid. This kind of statement, I am, this I am business is more conceited, being conceited, and saying that fear is mine, this mine, fear. So again, that's craving. That's again difficult mental states. And even talking about fear as myself, that's wrong view. So fear is just a mental state. It's just rising and passing away. So we need kind of not cling on to this fear by way of looking at fear as not mine, not myself, and this not I am. So this is a part of the discourse which is called the Satipatthana Sutta or Mahasatipatthana Sutta, where we look at the four foundational mindfulness and we can apply it to be free from fear. And now we look at finally, right, concentration. When our mind is focused, so when you have overcome some kind of hindrances like greed or then aversion, then restlessness and worry, overcome sloth and torpor, overcome delusion, the mind is more clear. Even when the fear arises, the mind is more clear, it's concentrated, it's focused with awesome states of mind. When the fear comes, still can deal with it. So that's what I would offer now, really in my talk about how to be free from fear using the Noble Eightfold Path. Thank you very much for listening. I offer this for your reflection. Sadhu. Yes.
Thank you, Venerable, for the wonderful teaching. Venerable, would you like to share the video that you were talking about?
Yes, actually, it's a PowerPoint. I can show you something. Let me see. Share. It's a PowerPoint that we actually now things. Not everything we are doing is about something we are planning to do in the future. Also, not only what we are doing, but also what we plan to do in the future. So let me see. There are many slides, but I'm going to skip them to show you exactly what we are planning to do in the future. So because there's so many activities and I didn't have enough time to get a video, but at least I can show you that Uganda Buddhist Center has a proposed Buddhist senior secondary school construction project. At the moment, we are having a preschool with 24 children, and we have also a Buddhist primary school for the first time this year, so that we can train monks, novice monks, before they had to disrobe and they go to other schools. So there was kind of yo-yo training. When there's a holiday, and they come to the temple and ordain. After 1 month or so, then they go back. So people here ordain as a novice monk many times. And I said, no, I think we should create our own school. So now this is something that is a step that we're doing. We've got approval from the government. This is something we are going to do. All right. I've told you the background of our Buddhist education. Now we have four classes running because we've just started. So next year we're going to have the other 3 in primary school, because in Uganda primary school has 7 classes. So then we have a full-fledged primary school. So in that school we have a combination of novice monks and lay children. Those who are training to become novice monks, also we have them. And I'd like also to be able to create the opportunities for children, girls who want to become nuns in the Burmese tradition. They should be able to join our school. So this is something that I want to go through. I'm going to run through very fast because this is a presentation about a project. I'm just going to show you very fast. Sorry, this is what I told you we have. We have a preschool, Buddhist primary school, and this is what we are going to do, Buddha Senior Secondary School. Yeah, this is a project, basically a project. But I'm going to show you just only a few slides, and then we'll go to Q&A because This is not a slide that I prepared to show you, but since I was asked when I started the talk, so at least you can see our plans basically. So this is Uganda Buddhist Center, and of course, was founded in April 2005 by me, and the center is established to preserve and disseminate the original teaching of the Buddha. It's still its only center in Uganda, actually, though we are creating now branches, but still the only one at the moment. The purpose was to spread Buddhist culture of peace within the context of African culture, and to serve as a center for Buddhist studies, meditation practice, and Buddhist research in Africa. So now Buddhist UBs envision a world of peace, true happiness, and ultimate freedom inspired by the teaching of the Buddha. So the center now stands on a major initiative in Entebbe here, providing a stable source of Buddhist studies in Africa. So at least you know our visions like that by way of introduction. The rest we are going to go very fast in these slides. Yeah, because this is just more details of project which I can share with you. This is a preschool we started in 2019, but actually it started in 2008, but officially we opened it in 2019 to follow the education curriculum. Yeah, so the children are between 3 to 6 from our community. So the school has 24 children who are enrolled. So also we keep a roll ratio between teacher to students, but also the thing that running the school also is a big challenge because most of the children are coming from poor families here, under-resourced families. So then we have to pay a big chunk to run the school. So that's why we keep also our ratios very low. We have very few children. Yeah, so now this is how it looks like. This still it's on a temporary structures. Yeah, we are yet to build a permanent structures. So this is our preschool. Basically, our temple was leaking, and I removed the iron sheets and said, let me put them somewhere. And then I created a proper school, but it's not proper because you can see it's not actually build proper structures. We'll do that in the future. At least you have some idea there, the exterior view. And this is the interior. You see the children there, and I go and teach them meditation. I think these are the future of Uganda when it comes to Buddhism. I'm just planting the seed there, you know. So then we had a monk from Cambodia who came and stayed here for a while. So here they are now. So these now a Buddhist primary school. This started in January 2022. Then we started that primary school with 3 classrooms, and the classroom now has 36 children, including novice monks. So they include 12 novice monks, 8 boys, and Nagarikas now, and 7 orphans from the Compassion Care Center. We also run what we call a Compassion Care Center, and the rest they're coming from the surrounding community. So in 2023, our plan is to enroll 84 children for all these kind of classes. That means next year we should be able to enroll all of them, and that would be very big step for us because Africa, as you all know, not so much education going on for Buddhist children and those who are preparing to spread Buddhism in Africa. So we are really warming up to make sure that we spread Dhamma in Africa, but through education, and that's what the initiative. This is a Buddhist primary school. Now, again, this is it, talking about this. We want to go very fast because I want to leave room for question. So these are our teachers. These are teachers. So these children, you see, they all mixed up. You know, this is like trying to be a novice monk. This comes from Compassion Orphanage Care Center, the others, but you see also classes with novice monks. So this is again our primary school. We build these buildings. You see, these are novice monks. So this one we just built it, but the children are not there yet because we had to complete it this year. So that means next year we have 3 more classes in order to complete a primary school. And for me, that's a big dream. I had to make sure that our novice monks don't have to disrobe. They have somewhere to study. And also the thing is about eating. I used to think that I should take novice monks to study in other schools, but there comes to the time for lunch, which is 11. Other schools could not accept him to have my novice monks to eat at 11 because of the different schedule. But now I control the schedule, then our children can go to school. So now we are going to the next stage, which is called Proposed Buddha Senior Secondary School, the high school. And of course, these are activities that are going on. We brought water there on the site, and now the tractor's clearing. We have made bricks, and now we put the storage container and all this kind of at the site. So this is the outlay of the school. At the moment, this is where the primary school is. Now, this is what's going to be the high school, that high school. Yeah, this is 1 acre of land. This is 25 decimals. This is actually 75. So that's our future project. Now, this is how it's supposed to be. A high school is supposed to be like that. And that's classroom blocks. We are going to phase it out so that at least we construct slowly by slowly until we finish it. I don't know when, but that's the front part. And that's how it looks like. And you can see lotus flowers. So we have Buddhist theme here already. Buddhist theme here, and this is the Bodhi tree. We're going to have it here. We're going to put a statue here so that at least it looks like a Buddhist school. And basically these approvals, all these just more details of the project. That's it for my presentation, because this is more of a project that we present to people who are interested. But I wanted to share with you only one activity we're doing at Uganda Buddhist Center to train novice monks. But we do other things, meditation programs, retreats, women empowerment projects. We give water, clean water to the community. I think that's it for my presentation today, but I would like to invite the next session, so I can remove it now, in the show. And I'll end up even sharing the screen now. Stop sharing screen.
Thank you, Venerable, for sharing, and we truly rejoice in your noble endeavors. Now the floor is open for Q&A. Any questions for Venerable Teacher? Yeah, Tobias from Germany.
Oh, yes, hello. I was just curious, how do you fund all the school activities? Do you get funding from the government, or is it via donations?
Actually, thank you very much. Guten Tag. Yes, actually, we have a German volunteer here. Yeah, she's volunteering. She's teaching German into our school, actually. Yeah, yeah. So actually, donations, the government doesn't support at all. No government support. Donations come from donors from around the world. A lot of support that I get, especially from Singapore. And then other countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, some from USA when I go to teach there, some from Japan, yes, so some from all over the world, basically, for people who are inspired by what I'm doing. So when it came to COVID, of course, I stopped traveling altogether. So I didn't teach a lot as I used to teach, to go around the world, but I got a lot of support to what I'm doing from many countries, more specifically from Asia, to be more specific. Asian countries, East Asia, have supported me a lot, especially Singapore, Indonesia, some people from Indonesia, and some people from Malaysia, but mainly Singapore. And yes, that's how I survive here, basically. Yes, but of course, efforts underway to get some help. Yes, from other countries, like, for instance, I want to give you an example. Taiwan was going to help me with the school, but because of COVID, it closed. I couldn't go to Taiwan. So actually, they're the one who told me, please try to build a high school. We're going to help you. But it didn't happen. They were telling me that actually they will even support the school for 10 years if we get a project. For the preschool, one class being supported by an organization in USA is called Global Buddhist Relief. Global Buddhist Relief. They support, like, give $10,000 to run the school per 1 year, 12 children for the whole year. So they donate that. Yeah. So fundraising, when I go to United States, I give talks, presentation. I've done a couple of fundraising actually in USA. One, I was physically there in Auckland. Another one, we did it online. And some people raised some money, but not all. So yeah, definitely that's answer your question, that the government has not yet helped me with the school, but I rely on friends and Dhamma sisters and brothers around the world. And I'm really very grateful to them. As far as skills, we have volunteers from India. We have an Indian who's a Buddhist and is teaching computers here to the children, and volunteer from Germany who's teaching German language. And we are going to get a monk from Thailand who's going to teach Buddhism actually here. We hope that monk will stay for 6 months here. So then this will teach Buddhism. Thank you very much for asking. Tobias. I've been to Germany, it's a wonderful country. Frankfurt, Berlin, yeah, thank you. Danke, danke.
I thank you very much also for your work. I visited Ghana before and South Africa, and I'm very happy that now also the Dhamma takes some root in Africa. So yeah, I even did I did a research in Cape Town about Buddhists in South Africa. So I'm very deeply connected to the topic. So I'm very grateful for your efforts and your work. And can I ask another question, or is there?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I was wondering, and how does the local community embrace it? Because I guess it's a big commitment also for young children and their families to become like a Buddhist monk. I mean, especially in African context, it might be kind of strange. Or how? I mean, do the family willingly commit their children to become Buddhist monks, or how does this work?
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, we have come a long way. Like this, almost 15 years since we established the center, whereby even people didn't want to step at the Uganda Buddhist Center, leave alone give us their children. So now, how it works is that I learned through the school of hard knocks, whereby I was seeing everybody being repelled, you know, unlike Paul's. Yeah, they call me evil because Buddhism don't believe in God. The white dress, they call me a witch. They call me witch doctor. They call me anything in the Shaolin master. They call me, they told me I was going to a mental hospital, coming from a mental hospital. So definitely children, the parents could not give the children to leave alone come anywhere near the temple, you know. So even children, when I used to put on a robe as a monk, you know, you have to cover your shoulders. They used to say, "Oh, come and see a man without a man with one arm," you know. So they used to really get scared. Some of them they run away, you know. Even in Kenya, I remember they ran away actually. So it took me a while to be where I am. So what I did come 2008. That's almost 2000. I mean, that's 2008. That's almost 3 years since I established the center. I started to find out the major problem in the community, and the problem was they didn't have clean water. So I established the water well, and all of those people were afraid. They came to get clean water from the temple, but they used to do it very fast and get water and go. And then one time I was near the entrance, and somebody said, "Is the Buddha there?" So they wanted to confirm whether I'm there or not. And so they were afraid, you know. And of course, later on, when I knew that they had water, but some of them had enough courage to enter the temple and get clean water because it was the only water source, you know. Yes, so and then I said, okay, if these people have a lot of fear, what about if I put the borehole outside the temple? And then I put more outside the temple. And now they kept on coming, getting clean water. And sometimes even altogether, because there are so many So there was no water, not enough for the water outside borehole. They were not enough. There were so many people and they overwhelmed one borehole, water well. So then I said, okay, let me just get a pipe of water running from our water source and just put near the gate. At least they will get water from the gate, but not enter the temple. So I get more people from Australia, actually, also they've been supporting me on a water project, and people from Vietnam. Many people have supported me, actually. So there's an organization in Australia who gave more money to construct more wells, because when I went to Australia, 5 minutes they asked me to give a talk, and the question is, how do you spread Buddhism in Africa? I told them I just practice compassion in action. And I give them, when I talk about compassion, I make sure that I'm practicing it. In other words, I want to walk the talk, not talk the talk. So now I told them, yes, I give them clean water and they come. And then when I come to get clean water, I teach them about compassion and I give them food. And now that's what I started doing, giving more water wells. And sometimes they break, mechanical breakdown, and then they spend a few weeks without having water. When I pass the village, Buddha, give us water. Buddha, give us water. They cannot say Buddharakkita. And now once they got to know my name, Buddharakkita, every time we are going to fetch water along the road, they will say, Buddha, 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 bye, bye, Buddha, bye, Buddha. So the children are so happy to be close to me, because these are the children who suffer and women who suffer to get clean water. So they are relieved because they're getting water, clean water, and very close distance other than going to the lake. So the children love me so much because I'm saving them a long journey to get clean water. So then I develop a rapport with the children. So now their parents, I start calling them to have food. Whenever we have Visak Day, Katina, I call them to have food. So then I develop what we call cultural program, whereby I give them drums and they sing and dance, so they are mothers. And then I created projects like Women Empowerment, where we got like 14 sewing machine. They start making clothes and skills and make shoes. And so they sell them, they get some money. They are not a burden to their husbands now. So the husband also thanked me very much that now I can find a bread when I go back home. So now I created the preschool, the preschool children, they are coming from our community. So that was a burden to them, So now they can study for free. So now I developed actually fast winning the hearts of the community. Yes. I don't go there, okay, please give me the child to become an office monk. No. Now I would now have my relatives and ordain them and for a while. And now even the community start to say, can I bring my child during the holiday? They ordain temporarily, because the Buddha say, come and see. They ordain temporarily. And after that, they go home. They are very humble. In fact, they're the one who sit down and meditate in their homes, not at the temple. They sit in their homes because they have learned these skills from the temple, and now they're going to their schools. Back then, we didn't have a school. So now they see the children are so humble. They used to shout at them, and they used to, the kids, with the parents, they are unruly, They found out when they left the temple, the children are very, very mellow, very calm. They do their jobs properly, because the temple, we train them to wake up very early and meditate and practice ethics and compassion. So they said, no, our children, I'm telling you, they were so wild. We could not even manage them, actually. So now we want our children to stay at the temple. So now I ask them, why do you want to bring your children at the temple? They say, no. For me, I'm not going to become a Buddhist. Maybe it's too late for me, but I want my child to become a Buddhist. But these are different religions. So that's how I do it. But it came a long way. It's just something that evolved naturally, how people actually found out that we can make a difference in their lives. Thank you for asking.
Thank you. Any other questions for Venerable from the audience? Okay, if there are no questions, then I'd like to invite Venerable Khenso Changtuk Chodron Rinpoche who is the Deputy Secretary General of International Buddhist Confederation, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks. Rinpoche, please.
Okay, now I think I'm audible. Okay. Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to see Venerable Buddharakkita presenting a beautiful talk today. The topic was freedom from fear, and I have witnessed that he has really presented the topic in a very eloquent and thorough manner. And we really appreciate your presentation. And then particularly, it was very interesting to listen to the answers that you presented to our questioner, Mr. Tobias from Germany, that the struggle that you have gone through in doing your work in Uganda to establish the Uganda Buddhist Center, and then how you have struggled through the tide that has been kind of there for a long time. And then you have successfully kind of encountered the tide, and now you are well established. You are the real hero in the sense of spreading the votes and messages of the Buddha. As you told that it is more a walk the talk, not talking the talk. I do really appreciate that. And we wish you great success, and may all those people surrounding you have more access to the Buddha's wisdom, and the real purpose of the Buddha's teachings is to benefit the beings. It is not to convert people. It is just to benefit them, to give them wisdom and light and guidance. And I think you are doing that. Thank you very much for that. And finally, we are grateful that you accepted the invitation of IBC to present this talk. And this was really valuable. Thank you very much. Thank you, all the listeners and staff of IBC for their involvement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And Modana Sadhu, thank you for your invitation. May you be well, happy and peaceful. Above all, I welcome you to Uganda to work together to spread the Dhamma in Africa and the rest of the world. Let us work together, let us be together, and let us live at peace. Thank you very much. Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you, Honorable.
Yes.
So with this, we come to the end of the program. And to stay updated, kindly visit our website, ibcworld.org. And hope to see you next time. Good night. Namaste.
Namaste. Namo Buddhaya. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye-bye. Good night.